Okay, everyone, we got Coach joining us now, so go ahead and let him in here. How you doing, Coach? You got me okay?
Yep, I got you, Adam.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, if you're ready to start, we'll go ahead and start firing off questions. First one, Dan.
Hi, Matt.
Hey, Dan, how you doing?
I'm doing good. We obviously haven't seen a lot of it these first 2 days, but when you think of Justin's deep ball ability, how do you describe what you've seen on tape, and what did it look like when you've seen him throw in person as well?
Yeah, so on tape, I think it's one of his greatest strengths that he has is being able to have that accurate deep ball. He's thrown several of them, and then when we went to his pro day, it was funny because we were there standing back there with Coach Day and Kyle was back there too, and it was his second pro day, and he was back there, and right before it, Ryan had predicted. He said, "Watch when this next deep ball comes up right here." And what do you know? He got the ball from gun. He rolled out to the right and just let one go, and you could just feel it. So I think that's one of his better things that he does, and that's something that we want to be able to use as much as possible.
Ideally, what does that unlock for an entire offense when you have a guy that can not only throw those but connect on those consistently?
Sure. Yeah, it's well, I think we all would say that when you're able to, no matter who it is, when you can hit those big plays and you're staying away from if you have some drives where you have to end up having 15, 16, 17 play drives, it can it puts a lot of pressure on third down, and it puts a lot of pressure when you get in the red zone. But when you have those deep type of plays and those deep balls and it's those quick strikes, you eliminate third downs and you eliminate that red zone, and it's 6 points as well. So it obviously helps out.
Hub.
Hey, Matt, I hope everybody's feeling well.
Thanks, Hub.
It's really hard looking at these kids. I mean, Jenkins and Bourne, they look great in their uniforms, but until they actually play an exhibition game, until you're actually live, it's hard to know how much you're going to have there. So what are you looking for? What do you have to see to know if you're going to be comfortable with one or two of these kids playing very early this year?
Sure. I think that for really all of these guys, the benefit that we'll have this year that we did not have last year is going to be having those preseason games, to know that we'll at least get to see them out there for a little bit with full speed, real live, quote unquote, bullets. We did not have that last year, and that can be hard for some of these guys. But this year, what we got to do is really make sure that we're teaching them the techniques and fundamentals that we teach, so that they can take that into the off season and practice their techniques without pads for OTAs and the off-season program. And then when we get to training camp, it is going to be how fast can they get used to seeing, for instance, those tackles, Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn and these other guys coming off the edge, and what better way to try to evaluate yourself. So we're going to have to be able to see what they can do in those preseason games, but also be prepared that and let them understand that, we want everybody competing to be a starter. And that's going to be obviously their mindset.
Is there a depth chart at left tackle right now?
No, I wouldn't say right now with the depth charts. We have an idea of a direction, Hub, that we think we want to go. But again, there's so many things that are fluid and that can change based off of what we see. And I think that's probably why we don't go that route right now.
Thanks, man.
Yep.
Pat.
Matt, yesterday you were talking about how Justin was serious on the field yesterday. Have you been around quarterbacks who have been like that? What is there anything you can compare it to? And secondly, are you still planning on being out there tomorrow?
Yeah. So to your second question, I am planning on being out there. Got to get one more negative test in the morning tomorrow, which I'm ready for, and then I can rock and roll. So I'm excited to get back out there. And then as far as other quarterbacks, yeah, there's definitely other quarterbacks that have that same demeanor. And I think that's the beauty of what makes everybody different at their positions and how they handle themselves, whether it's between those white lines or it's amazing too. how people change when they're off the field versus when they're on the field. So we just want them to be who they are, and his competitive nature and his competitive spirit, you can tell, is the way that it is. It's kind of always been that way. I think you see that with him, and that's something that we'll all get used to.
Mark?
Hey, Matt, I think it's Ryan Pace who said he likes the rookie minicamp because he gets a chance to see in the flesh the players he'd been scouting, in film or in pro days all this time. How much are you missing that? And even regarding that, with regard to that, is there anything you've seen yourself from home or feedback you've gotten from coaches that tells you that some of these guys or any of these guys are maybe even more than what you thought?
Sure. It's a little different. It's a lot different when you're not there in person. You can still see the video. You can still kind of get a feel of what the tempo is like. Then you can hear the play calls, et cetera. But it is different than other years where for myself of being able to kind of have those one-on-one conversations with guys as maybe they're stretching or as they're running on or off the field. So that part I've missed out on the past 2 days, but listening to the other coaches, I think, this evening we're going to get together and go through as a staff, the guys that we're seeing and what we think we might have. It's always the beauty of these camps is being able to see, whether it's a drafted guy, but a lot of times an undrafted guy that might grab your attention and be somebody that you want to keep on the team and move forward with. That's always what's fun about this as well. So it's been different for me, but I'm looking forward to, relying on the coaches as what they're seeing. And I think that I want to give credit to our players out there and the coaches. I think that it's been a clean 2 days. There's not guys flying around on the ground everywhere. They understand the rules. They're tagging off on defense like they're supposed to. We're not having the domino effect with the O-line, D-line, with guys falling to the ground. So far it's been really good.
Thank you.
Yep.
Brad?
Hey, Matt, what's realistic for Justin when you talk about retention and kind of how he's able to handle everything you guys throw at him over a weekend like this when you get back with him or when the veterans are there and he's asked to kind of build off his beginning here?
Yeah, I would say his retention, what's going to happen, Brad, is yesterday being the first day that he's on the field and being able to just get in the huddle, hear the play call in a headset, in his helmet, walk up to the line of scrimmage, visualize the play that's being called, and then executing. That's hard for that first day. I think you could even see it and feel it today. It felt like just that part was even better from yesterday. I thought we had a few more mistakes today, just from what I saw on the video, which is normal on the second day because we install more plays this morning. So there's more volume for the guys, which creates more thinking, which usually creates more mistakes. So it probably looked a little more sloppy today than yesterday, which is okay and very normal. But retention for him is, we were talking late last night about what it means to, when you call a play and you walk in that huddle, are you speaking to the guys in the huddle or are you just reading a play? Because when you get in there and you have voice inflection and you're talking to the Z receiver and telling him his route, you're talking to the line and talking about their protection. You're talking to the zebra receiver and talking about motions. And then you, by the way, you break the huddle and got to look at the play clock. Are you doing all that together? And so every day that he gets out there, it'll get better and better as he starts to really learn the intricacies of this offense.
Jason?
Matt, you guys had a rookie come in last year in Darnell Mooney and play right away and find a role in the offense. What indicators are you looking for from Daz Newsome that would tell you whether or not he's capable of that?
Sure. I would say, again, with Daz, I think, first of all, his personality, I love. I think he's got a great personality, and I haven't really been there in person at all, but just from what I see on these Zoom calls, and I know it's his birthday today, but what he's done in his production in North Carolina and playing at that slot position, it's going to just be about taking advantage of opportunities. Right now, these guys, they're the big fish in the small pond, like I said yesterday, with the only rookies being here, really. So they're getting all the reps. When the vets come in, they start losing out the physical reps, and now it's more about mental reps. So it's a matter of, can guys stay in tune with their mental reps, and then when they get a chance for physical reps, can they take advantage? And that's going to be the same thing for Daz Newsome. When you talk about Daz, you understand. I mean, that's a position that he plays where we feel like it's probably some of the most depth that we have at a position, and he's just going to add to that. I mean, he's going to come into OTAs, to the offseason, to training camp, and you're looking at guys like A-Rob, Mooney, Goodwin, Wims. You got Ridley and Bird, among others, A. Miller. So when you talk about Anthony, and that talks about the depth too that we have, I think that, that's awesome. And that's what we want. And I know the other day there was something that was said in regards to Coach Furry with, we don't need you, talking with the whole Anthony Miller thing. But Mike and I talked about that, and that wasn't what Mike was trying to say about Anthony Miller. That his message was about the depth that we have at that position, and that, all of those guys, including Anthony Miller, this is the most competition we've had. And that goes with Daz Newsome, man. Everybody that comes in for wide receiver, man, it's going to be awesome to see the competition. So Anthony included, we've had some great talks. He's super motivated to have a great off season and training camp and control what he can control. But I know that was kind of a big deal the other day. And I just wanted to kind of clear that up and say that Anthony's been doing a hell of a job, and he's going to compete with the rest of these guys, including Daz Newsome.
Dan?
Matt, one of the questions that some evaluators had about Justin coming out was his ability to get through progressions, not necessarily from a standpoint of being able to see it, but being able to do it quickly enough. I'm curious what your evaluation on that is, and what growth you need to see in that area going forward.
So number one, I would say I saw it change over time at Ohio State. And that's what I was excited about. I think we all saw it when we watched tape. The first season that he played, you could see there were some times where he's working through progressions, and then credit to Coach Day and that coaching staff to teaching him and having him grow with reading that. Justin's a very bright kid. He's football smart. He understands X's and O's. And then he also does a great job at understanding post-snap vision. And that's so crucial in this game, is being able to recognize that. And he did it yesterday. Again, he did it today. So for him to have that is going to be really, really big to be able to grow, again, especially against the defenses that we're going to see even in training camp as well.
To that end, his season last year was different. It was, abbreviated. It was interrupted. There were a lot of curveballs to it. But how valuable was it to his growth to have, even though it was only 8 games, to have those 8 games to improve on all that?
Absolutely huge. It's to get those snaps that he had and be able to see, every play that he got where he got to see another defense, or he got to be able to throw another deep cross concept or some type of post route, or make some checks at the line of scrimmage. And it's so valuable to have that experience, to be able to use that as you grow. So let alone speaking about the person and him leading that thing during COVID and trying to get everybody to get out there and play, it just shows to his competitive spirit. So I think that's really going to help him to be able to that learning curve that he could have, that him playing last year is going to help with that learning curve this year.
Got time for a couple more. Adam Hogue.
Yeah, Matt, I guess this is sort of a follow-up to what Mark asked earlier about getting to see these guys, getting eyes on these guys.
Yeah.
In general, in your experience as a coach, how important is the first impression and kind of passing that eye test once you finally get them out there on the practice field and get to see them?
Yeah, it's real. It's nice to see what these guys look like. I mean, I've had a couple coaches, without giving away too much for other teams down the road or whatever, but I've had a couple coaches call me and tell me, this guy looks better and is playing better than what I thought on tape. And so to your point, Adam, like those are good things. It's better to have that than to say this guy doesn't look like what I thought we had on tape, so that's real. And now the next step is when the vets get here and you're able to see them get their mental reps. And then when ultimately you get to training camp, that's when training camp and preseason, I mean, that's in the end when you really get to see some of those guys.
Last one, Pat.
I wanted to ask you about Thomas Graham. Is there an opportunity for him as a slot corner? And what jumped out about him when you watched what he was able to do in college? And also, how do you evaluate a guy who then sat out of you?
Sure. No, I absolutely think there's an opportunity for him. You guys could see 2 years ago what type of player he was. We saw it. Really, really talented. Did sit out this year. So again, for anybody that didn't play, we want to make sure that they come in and are able to really learn Sean's system on defense, and then let Sean and those guys and Deshae really figure out what's best for him, whether it's in the slot at nickel or outside at corner or both, and then what they can handle mentally. You know, Sean does a great job. I know that's Coach Desai's forte is the nickel position, so I know they're going to get coached well between him and Deshae, Deshae being a nickel as well. So it's really going to be just to what can he handle mentally, and then competition, man. Let's let those guys go out there and see what they can do against our guys in the slot.
I think we're all set. Thanks, Coach.
All right. Take care, guys. See you.